Welcome back to Caesar Man Warrior, and this is another installation of ships where we go in depth for the ships so you can see what they have ability-wise, going through unique effects, general effects, and what they add. So the next ship on the list is going to be this First Order TIE Fighter. This is exciting. He's a dark side First Order attacker, and this is for the First Order TIE pilot, the FOTP. And I love this character personally in the game, and so I'm pretty excited about this. And of course, it has that expansion on the bottom right for hardware abilities coming soon. So there's going to be something that you can add on to that, kind of like mods in the game for your characters. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and see what crew ability is added by having the FOTP. So it deals physical damage to a target enemy, pretty basic, right? But if the opponent has target lock, it says target locked strafe's cooldown is refreshed. So this is a special ability that has a cooldown of 3. If the target has target lock on it, then it refreshes. So you could use this every time. And strafe is going to do a whole lot more damage than the basic attack will. So that's a really cool ability that more than likely, I mean, everybody's getting target lock on this on ships. So it's like a big deal. Everybody's getting it. So, you know, you're applying it down to a ton of characters on basics. So this would be, you know, you gotta really think strategy. I need a ship that's going to apply target lock to a lot of the other ships, so that way ships like this can come in and take advantage of that. So his basic target acquired is going to deal physical damage with a 45% chance to attack again. That's very similar to his basic, actually, the First Order TIE Pilot's basic attack. It's got the same type of 45% chance to attack again. It says each hit has a 55% chance to inflict target lock for 2 turns. So more than half the time, he's going to put target lock on the opponent, and then also he's going to a chance to attack a second time, almost half the time as well. And remember, it's going to reset that cooldown on his crew ability if he has the target lock applied. So, and then his unique is called Relentless Pursuit, and it says First Order TIE Fighter gains 16.5% turn meter whenever a target locked enemy is damaged by an attack. So we know that, you know, characters are going to have target lock on, and that the whole point of this is to get the target lock on him and then have these abilities. And so check this out. I mean, think about it. When he targets an enemy that's damaged by an attack, he gains turn meter. This is just going to speed him up faster and faster and faster, which goes hand in hand with a TIE fighter. Obviously, a TIE fighter, these are very, very, very fast ships, and so that's a really cool ability. So yeah, definitely I'm going to go to the next ship, but leave your comments down below what you think about each of these ships as we go through them, because they're very cool. And the other thing is, I have all of these ships completely and utterly maxed out, so that's really cool. You know, we've got them 7-starred and all of that. So let's go to the next ship, the Millennium Falcon, Episode 7. So that will lead you to believe that obviously this is specifically with in Episode 7 with Finn, and Finn, yeah, and Rey. And so those are your 2 characters that are going to be piloting this. Which I know the Han Solo did jump in, and so did Chewbacca. He jumped in on Episode 7 as well, but whatever. And then they have BB-8 as a hardware ability coming soon. You can kind of see that over to the right. So really, really cool graphics. And what's really cool about the Millennium Falcon is it brings 2 crew members, which means it brings 2 crew abilities. And this ship is the only ship that has a unique ability, a unique effect that is pretty much as cool as the capital ships. So we know those capital ships, those main 3 ships in the game right now. This is basically almost as cool as one of those ships, and I'll tell you why as we go through this. So let's go ahead and look at Rey and what she brings as a crew. This is what makes it awesome. So it has a cooldown of 6. It says Millennium Falcon recovers 50% protection, that's half, and gains 3 stacks of thrust reversal, okay? So it's a buff that gives 3 buffs over 3 stacks, so to speak. So this is kind of like a a tag or something, and the ship gets 3 of them, okay? And then it says thrust reversal, plus 4% evasion per stack. So instantly when it adds the 3 stacks, you're going to have 12% evasion. So it's giving you additional evasion capability. And it says anytime you take damage, you're going to lose 1 stack lost on the damage. And at the end of your turn, 1 stack is consumed to gain 100% turn meter. So let me just break this down a little bit. You're going to get 3 stacks or 3 of these tags added to your ship by using this ability. It's going to add evasion, so that way you don't get hit more than likely. But when you do get hit, the damage is going to remove a stack. The next turn, if you have any stacks that are still available, that are still there, you're going to get extra turns for every stack that's left. So if they attack it, it's going to, it just gives it turn meter if you don't attack it. So if they do thrust reversal, what's going to happen is you're going to have to attack this and take it out, so that way they don't get a bunch of extra turns. Because if you don't damage it at all, it will get Millennium Falcon will get 3 extra turns because of the 3 stacks on there. And it makes it harder to attack. This is so OP, it's unbelievable. It's absolutely amazing. I love thrust reversal. It's a very cool ability. And then let's see, this one's called Gambit. It says it deals physical damage, has a cooldown of 4, by the way. It deals physical damage to all enemies and then lose all buffs. So it takes away your buffs, but it deals physical damage to all enemies. And then it says this attack hits each enemy again for each buff lost in this way, so a maximum of 3. So if you had a couple of buffs, it's going to, hit the enemy again. If you had 2 buffs, it's going to hit the enemy again twice, but for a maximum of up to 3. So this is like an up to 4-time hit, potentially, because 3 buffs potentially coming off and the basic attack. And it says hits after the first are going to deal 50% less. So Gambit's pretty cool because, honestly, this is almost like Flurry of Blows, something like that, where you can potentially hit them for a multitude, but you're going to really have to buff your team up. So you're going to have to really focus on which ships are going to be able to buff the Millennium Falcon up, so that way you can maximize Gambit by removing these buffs and getting those extra attacks. But both of these crew powers give extra attacks, so that is really cool. So let's go through their basic ability. Quad Laser is the basic. It deals physical damage to a target enemy with a 65% chance to hit them a second time, which is awesome because he's already getting extra attacks on both those special abilities. And now on the basic, he's gonna, almost 2 out of 3 times get a second attack. And it says plus an additional hit if Millennium Falcon is buffed. So if there's any buffs, he gets to attack multiple times, and if there is buffs, he gets to take them off and do multiple attacks with the special ability. It's absolutely designed, like I said earlier, what's called chaining multiple attacks, or creating multiple attacks within one attack. This is all the the rebels and the resistance. They're designed to do this chaining of multiple attacks and damage. So very cool. It does say that the hits after the first will deal 75% less damage. So the other attack, the additional attack, if he's buffed, is not going to be such a huge deal. And it also says hits after the first will deal 75% less. So it also says that with a 65% chance it will hit a second time. It looks like both of these opportunities of getting an additional attack will be at that 75% less. Also, if the target has lock, this attack scores an additional hit, which will be at the 75% less damage, I'm assuming. So pretty crazy because you've got multiple hit capabilities with Quad Laser, potentially up to 4 hits, potentially. And of course, this one, you have potentially up to 4 hits. So that's pretty amazing that you can get up to 4 hits potentially with this ship. So against the odds is its unique Millennium Falcon Episode 7 gains 9% turn meter and 3% offense. It's stacking whenever it's attacked. So it stacks. It means it adds to, it just keeps adding, it keeps adding. If it is buffed when it attacked, it also inflicts target lock on the attacker. So almost guaranteed, because of the way this ship is built, he's going to get buffs, and because of the buffs, he's going to get extra attacks, and because of the extra attacks or the buffs, he's also going to inflict target lock on the opponent. This, if played properly, is completely and utterly OP. I love this ship. I think Rex has an awesome ship, but this one's probably, you know, one of my favorites so far to date that I've read through. So the Millennium Falcon, very, very cool. Let's go to the next ship. We got the Geonosian Soldiers Starfighter. Geonosian Soldiers Starfighter, of course, is an attacker ship. It looks, again, very similar, almost identical to the other Geonosian ships, because they're all, you know, the same type of starfighters. Well, let's go ahead and go through Geonosian Soldier's crew ability. It's called Separatist Assault, and it has a cooldown of 3. It says, deal physical damage to a target enemy and call a random ally to assist. Now, that is very similar to what he does. So again, they did really good about bringing symmetry between the character's abilities and then the character with their ship. And it says inflict evasion down for 2 turns if the chosen ally is a separatist. So any other separatist helps in, and of course you probably want to use him with other Geonosians or other separatists. You're going to get evasion down, which this is really, really nice. That means you're guaranteed pretty much to be able to hit the target that you're looking at. Now, target lock, if the other team you're going against has target lock, both attackers are going to deal 25% more damage. So you really want to lock that, you know, get target lock on the opponents, so that way you can get these extra added bonuses. You can see almost every ship has additional damage with target lock, or additional attacks, or additional you know, perks and unique bonuses with that target lock capability. So you definitely want to do that. And frontline, you know, it deals physical damage to a target enemy. It removes 15% turn meter if the target is buffed, which, you know, it depends, I guess, on which category of team you're going to build, but the turn meter removal is doubled. So if you're playing him with rebels and getting all that additional, you know, buffing going on and whatnot, you're going to deal the damage and then remove, you know, 30% turn meter. So that's actually a really cool basic ability. Anytime you can remove turn meter on a basic, for sure. And it's not 10%, it's actually 30% potentially. That's really good. His unique is called Swarm Aggression. It says Geonosian Soldiers Starfighter has a 25% chance to assist. That's 1/4 of the time it's going to happen. That is awesome. It deals 45% less damage when he attacks, though. And it says whenever an ally attacks during their turn. So, you know, they're going to reduce the amount of damage that he's doing. However, he has a 25% chance to attack. That's great. It says this chance is doubled for separatist allies. So again, he's got, you know, this synergy with separatists like the other Geonosian spy and whatnot. So you definitely want to make sure you're really being thoughtful in which abilities you like the best, and then building a team structured around how to maximize these abilities, for sure. So that was the Geonosian Soldiers Starfighter, and let's do the Resistance X-Wing. So the Resistance X-Wing is just a good old-fashioned classic X-Wing. I really like this ship. It looks awesome. They did great with the graphics. But let's see what the crew brings in. Now, this is considered a support ship, so we'll see kind of what support it brings. So it has this special crew ability called I'm On It. It has a cooldown of 3, and it deals physical damage to a target enemy and inflicts target lock for 2 turns, which is exactly what you want, with a 55% chance to also expose them for 2 turns, which he does in real life as a normal character. He creates that exposed potential. So again, very in line with the character and what he's like in the game. So they did a great job of really transferring what the characters do into their ships. And this has a cooldown of 3, and so every 2 turns, you know, or every 3rd turn, you're going to be able to use it. And for 2 of the turns, they're going to have target lock inflicted and possibly exposed. So very cool ability. And just remember, you see where the Resistance pilot is? You can click right on the Resistance pilot, and it will take you right to the Resistance pilot's information. And then the basic ability is called Hot Pursuit. It is a basic, so it just deals physical damage to a target enemy. Pretty simple, right? But if the opponent has target lock, which his special applies, exposes the target for 2 turns. So it has 2 different ways of throwing expose on. One in the special crew ability gets almost a 50% chance of doing that. And then, of course, this is, if it's got lock, it automatically happens. So that's really cool. The special ability has a cooldown of 4. It's called Disarray, and it says daze the target enemy. Now, let's go back to my video that I did before where I talked about all these abilities. Daze is a debuff that prevents any extra turn meter or any bonus attacks, and all the bonus attacks it prevents are all of them, from counters to assists to multi-attacks, being called out of turn, all of that. It's going to prevent any of the turn meter gain and all those extra calls. So it dazes them for a target enemy for 2 turns, which basically puts them out of that extra turn and turn meter removal, and remove 31% turn meter. So it's going to take away turn meter, prevent the extra turn meter, and it says a 35% chance to apply these effects to a second target. So there's a chance that you're going to get kind of like old Daka stuns and has a chance to stun another person randomly. The same kind of thing. You're gonna daze one target, which is gonna really kind of knock them out of commission, and you're possibly gonna daze a second target. That is really, really crazy, but very cool. So Disarray, I definitely think that this ship, while simplistic in form with its abilities, is potent for sure, to say the least. And then the last one for this video that we're going to go over, and then we'll leave the last few for the next one, is Ahsoka Tano's Jedi Starfighter. This is a very cool looking Starfighter. I mean, honestly, this is very cool. It is almost a hybrid of like an X-Wing and a Starfighter. Doesn't it look like that? I mean, very, very cool graphics. Love it. And so she's, tagged as Republic. This ship is tagged as Republic, attacker, and of course Jedi. And her crew ability has a cooldown of 2. That is called Turnabout, and the reason is you can use it every other turn, so that is crazy. It says if Ahsoka Tano's Jedi Starfighter doesn't have any buffs, so on the off chance it doesn't, it's going to gain offense up for 2 turns and 25% turn meter. Otherwise, it loses all status effects and recovers 80% protection. Now, let me tell you why this is ridiculously awesome and why this is an absolute must-have, this Turnabout. 1, the cooldown is 2. Anytime you can get a cooldown of 2, that means you're going to use this ability just nonstop. And you know that she is gaining turn meter potentially, so she's going to go faster than most. But if she doesn't have a buff, she's going to buff herself for a couple of turns and speed herself up by adding 25% turn meter for a couple of turns, which is, 25% turn meter is great. But if she doesn't, for some reason, have any buffs, she would lose all status effects and recovers 80% protection. So it just says it loses all status effects. It doesn't say positive or negative. So if she happened to have, some debuffs, she's going to lose those status effects and recover protection. So she's self-cleansing, essentially. And protection is the new health with the ships, because we don't do health with ships. You don't recover health on ships because they're not human. You add for more protection, the shields. And so she's going to recover, and this is the highest recovery rate of protection I've seen in the entire game up to date. Maybe the last couple of ships will have something cool like this, but no, this is a really, really, really good special ability that she has to give her extra turn meter, give her some buffs, and if she doesn't have buffs, removing any buffs or debuffs and giving herself extra protection. She is a little bit squishier than other ships, and so there's definitely that for just keeping herself out and alive. Her basic is called Reflexive Shot. It'll deal physical damage to a target enemy with a 70% chance to gain evasion up. That's great because she needs that evasion up so she doesn't get killed. target lock. If the other team or the other character that she's going against has a target lock on, then it will grant another random ally evasion up for 2 turns. That's okay. That's pretty cool, especially because it's a basic attack. But keep in mind, there's all these target lock abilities that need to be unlocked, so you better have at least 1 or 2, I'm guessing at least 2 ships that are on their basic going to apply this target lock to opponents on their basic, because all these awesome special abilities are predicated on your opponent having target lock to unlock these other cool aspects of these other, basic attacks and whatnot. Well, let's look at her special. It has a cooldown of 3. That is fast as well. That's really quick. And it will deal physical damage to a target enemy and dispel all buffs on them. This ability's cooldown is reset whenever an enemy reinforces. So in the ships world, when they call in a ship, meaning that one of their main ships is destroyed, they call it in, they're instantly going to reset this cooldown for her, and that way she can reuse her dispel. So if they come in with buffs, because there are some ships that when they come in as a reinforcement, they instantly come in with a buff, this is going to kind of be able to shut that down, so to speak, which is why they call this shutdown. So she is the dispeller to get rid of the other team's buffs. This is kind of like a B2 move, so to speak. This is really, really cool. I'm really digging Ahsoka's ship for sure. And that's shut down. So what do you think of the ships I just went over? Let me know in the comments down below which one of these section ships that you liked. What did you like about them? What are you most excited about as far as adding ships to your lineup? And which one are you going to go for first when you can do this? As always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.